Okay, so uh, picture this for a second. You're scrolling online, right? And you see some like really weird limited edition snack. Maybe, I don't know, chips from Korea
Mhm.
or a soda flavor you've never even heard of.
uh,
What if I told you that snack, that like seemingly random item, could actually be your ticket to a pretty profitable side hustle?
it sounds completely wild, doesn't it, seriously? But the sources we dug into for this deep dive, they really lay out how this whole like underground snack economy actually functions, and it's way more than just a couple of people trading candy bars. It's becoming a real market.
Exactly. And that's what we want to unpack here. That's the mission for this dive.
Yeah.
How are people actually making decent money buying and reselling snacks? Like, what's driving it all?
Well, at its simplest level, the idea is straightforward. You find rare snacks, maybe imported stuff or limited runs, and you sell them to people who can't get them easily.
Hmm.
But the why it's booming now, that's where our source material gets really interesting.
Yeah. And it seems like social media is just this massive engine behind it.
Mm.
Think about those TikToks that go viral or the YouTube taste test videos.
Oh, absolutely.
They just create instant hype around snacks you'd otherwise like never even know existed.
Right, it taps right into that whole cultural thing with novelty and FOMO, fear of missing out, and wanting something unique, something different. It basically turns snacks into these little viral events, which, drives crazy demand for stuff that was never meant to be everywhere.
And that demand, well, it translates straight into profit. The sources we looked at show people aren't just making like pocket change. Some are reporting incomes, maybe even hitting figures like $1,000 a week just
Uh,
from this.
1,000 a week. And what's really pushing those margins, and this is a key thing from the Lorses, it's a pretty simple formula, actually. It's basically scarcity plus novelty equals demand. Simple as that.
Right.
If you find something that's genuinely hard to get and it feels new or exciting, people will pay a premium.
And yeah, this isn't just theory. The sources gave us really solid examples. We saw mentions of like specific Lay's flavors from Korea fetching high prices,
Mhm.
or that spicy Mountain Dew only sold in one state,
Oh, yeah, I saw that one.
being flipped online for way more. Even old discontinued cereal boxes. They become collector's items.
Crazy, right? So you might be listening and thinking, okay, but how do you even start something like that?
Mm.
And what's really striking that the sources point out is how low the barrier to entry is. It's surprisingly low.
Totally. You don't need like a massive warehouse or a huge investment.
No.
Basically, you need some shelves, maybe a PayPal account, and a way to actually get the snacks.
And getting the snacks, that could mean anything, right? Finding an online supplier overseas, maybe connecting with a local distributor who already imports stuff.
Or even just like leveraging friends or family who travel.
Mm.
Hey, can you pick this up if you see it?
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just about having the product. The sources really emphasize this. Successful sellers often add value. They build an audience.
How? Like making videos.
Yeah, creating content like those taste test videos you mentioned or unboxing videos. It builds trust, gets people interested.
We're getting really specific, right? Niching down.
Exactly. One idea mentioned was curating subscription boxes. Maybe for gamers, unique energy drinks and snacks.
Or like anime fans wanting Japanese treats.
Perfect example. Or even people who are just obsessed with spicy food challenges, wanting the absolute hottest, rarest snacks out there.
And the potential profit, it can be pretty nuts. There was this great example in the sources.
Oh, the Cheetos one.
Yes, this Reddit user, right? Bought an $80 crate of Japanese Cheetos
Okay. $80.
and then resold the individual bags for $12 each.
$12 a bag. Wow.
Yeah. And they cleared over $500 profit from that one crate, basically without leaving home. That really makes you see the potential.
Definitely brings it home. Now, obviously, it's not all, easy money. There are challenges. The sources mentioned things like shipping costs, which can be high, especially internationally.
Sure. And expiration dates. Got to watch those.
Right. And maybe needing to understand some basic import rules if you're bringing stuff in from other countries. But, these are manageable hurdles.
So who's actually buying this stuff? The sources paint a picture of a few groups.
Yeah, it seems to be a mix. You've got your dedicated collectors who just want unique items for their, collection.
Right. And then content creators needing new, interesting things to review or feature.
Uh-huh. And then just general trend chasers, people who enjoy that social media flex of having something rare and hyped up.
So if you were thinking about this, maybe it's a side hustle, the basic playbook from our deep dive seems to be something like this. First, spot a trend early. see what's getting buzz.
Yeah, get ahead of it. Then figure out your sourcing. How are you going to get it?
Right. Then you flip it, but with some flair,
Yeah.
Use platforms like Instagram, maybe Discord, TikTok, definitely.
And seriously, think about adding that content piece. Reviews, taste tests, unboxings, it helps build your brand.
It really does seem like a surprisingly, I don't know, accessible way, even kind of fun, to
Yeah.
potentially bring in some extra cash, tapping into this like global craving for novelty.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And maybe the biggest takeaway, the final thought from all this material is realizing how, in our super connected, hype-driven world, something as simple as a limited edition chip or a weird soda from overseas, it's transformed.
How so?
Well, they aren't just snacks anymore. They're not just about satisfying a craving. They've actually become a kind of commodity, traded purely on scarcity and, how much people desire them.
A commodity. Wow, that's something to think about.